All right, welcome to Get Good this evening. Tonight, me and my co host Bellator Lucis will be giving a bit of background information on ourselves, and we'll also be discussing the 3.4 teaser trailer. So, without further ado, I will pass the mic off to Bellator and let him talk about himself for a few minutes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed our first one. We got some feedback from you all, and we really appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and keep on doing this, and keep on trucking, and we've got quite a few topics lined up. So we've got quite a few shows planned. But like Caine said, for tonight we will be talking about ourselves, kind of about why we're doing this. A little bit info about ourselves, why we're on Famfrit, why we're rating, stuff like that. And then we're going to get into the patch 3.4 trailer that came out last night. That was amazing. But I'm not going to get into many details and spoil things until we watch it. So, with that said, I'm actually going to toss this one to you, Caine, because I know we had talked about doing a show and talking about things, and I don't know if it sprouted from, if the idea sprouted from just my non-stop talking about crafting and gathering and um, like back when uh, fam was playing with us and we would just talk about gathering for an hour non-stop and you guys would just leave the Discord channel because because we wouldn't shut up.
Well, essentially, that is why I wanted to do this show with you, is because I remember you and Fam had talked about, even jokingly talking about doing a podcast show just about crafting. That would probably be one of the most dull and boring talk shows ever. But that is the main reason why I decided to push for this, for me and you mainly, and kind of remember Fam. Throw it out to him because, he was one of our good friends, our FC mates, and he is unfortunately no longer with us. But, yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the entire reasoning behind it. I mean, I'm really glad that I did push you to continue on with this, even though it was kind of like a haphazard caution to the wind. Let's just see what the hell's going to happen with this. And you know what? Let's just keep doing it because I enjoy doing it. I mean, you really have no choice in doing it anymore. So,
Yeah, well, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's definitely well, first off, I want to touch on the whole crafting talk is boring. That's BS, and I'm gonna throw it out there. You think it's boring because you don't do it, and everyone else that, not everyone else, that's too generic, but we can make it interesting. In fact, we will make it interesting. It's definitely one of the topics we're gonna be going over. But
excellent.
with that said, I do have um I do enjoy this, and I do want to continue doing it because it's kind of a little bit of nostalgia, a bit of a throwback to back when I was in college and I worked for the radio station, the student-run radio station, and I hosted my own show then too, and it was called the Rooftop Bar, and the name came from one of the rumors about the school. But that was a different time, total different topics. It was actually mostly music related, but doing this thing with Final Fantasy 14 sounds like a lot of fun. And it sounds like we've got a lot of things that we've just been talking about, like just talking in game and playing and just during our downtime going, hey, I wonder what other people are thinking about this or what they think about what we just figured out or what we just thought was something cool to try to figure out. And yeah, it's really good to be able to just try it. Like you said, just throw caution to the wind and give it a go. Because what's the worst that can happen? People will call us up or talk to us and say we suck. I mean, we suck. Yeah, there's no getting around that.
I completely. I mean, that's. I'm indifferent to everything. If we suck, okay. Well, you know what? Tell us how we can make ourselves better. I mean, really, that's we got to get good. Essentially,
uh,
as tacky as that sounds, but.
bringing it back, bringing it back to the title, which is a fun one. I remember us kind of getting giddy about the name.
Well, that is one of the things I let you decide.
Yeah, definitely look forward to one of our topics. Um, uh, Get Good, kind of the major theme of our show. Just getting to know more about the game and more about the meta of the game, the community around it. And then on occasion we'll do stuff like without giving any many details about it, it's a section of our show called Scrub Talk, which will
Yeah.
be a lot of fun.
Oh God, yes. All the mishaps and fun, exciting things we have done. Learning.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I think I blabbed about myself quite a bit already, and just talking about my background. How about you?
well, I mean, as most, not most of you, I mean, as a lot of you know, my name is Commander Caine. I have been on Famfrit for about 2 years now since I started playing the game. And the only reason I started playing MMOs really was as corny and tacky and crappy as this sounds, was because Sword Art Online. I hadn't played an MMO since oh God, what was it? Fantasy Star Online on Dreamcast. If you consider that an MMO. And then there was RuneScape when I was going through high school for a little bit. But I mean, other than that, I haven't touched an MMO since 14. And it was a huge change of pace from say RuneScape and Fantasy Star Online to what Final Fantasy 14 is now. I mean, it's a huge leap. So, I mean, initially I was so confused. I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing. But thankfully, I ran a few dungeons with people and they were explaining to me, like, as a tank, which was my very first class, I didn't know a paladin or a gladiator was a tank. I didn't know what class system was at that point in time. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. I mean, I could take damage, high amounts of damage, but I don't know what exactly I'm going to be doing. So they explained to me what each skill would do and how using flash, as basic as that is, how it is essential for any tank to use, especially when trying to generate aggro. So that is pretty much it. I mean, besides me swapping between like four different classes for raids and then my personal use, and that's pretty much it. I mean, not a very exciting person in game. I mean, other than crap talking to random people, there's always that. That's fun.
That's always fun. That's what we do between downtime and polls, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Unless you're going, hey, watch this.
Oh God, yes, those are always fun. I don't know if you saw the video that I had posted in one of the Facebook pages, but one of my friends, Xander, was recording it. I didn't know. We were doing Weeping City, and we were on Forgol, and I was messing around with my other healer. I was like, "Hey, you want to see something funny?" She was like, "No." So I just freaking casted Combust on Forgol and booked it out of the arena and watched just chaos ensue the entire time. And I was just sitting there laughing. Oh, she was so mad. It was so worth it, though. So worth it. I will take the screaming and yelling from her every time.
I'm sure we could link that somewhere in the description. But
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
I saw that
absolutely.
one, and it reminds me of the times in Crystal Tower where I'm just like, dang it, Caine, who pulled that? Caine, damn it!
Yeah, that's
And then you run out
Chris.
and lock
Uh
yourself
huh.
out.
Oh, there was one video I got where me and Shanty were running together. He was standing like on the edge of the barrier, and we were getting ready to like lock ourselves out essentially. And he's just standing there. The barrier goes up, and he dies instantly. He was like, "What the hell just happened?" And I'm just sitting there laughing hysterically because we don't know what happened. He just dropped. It was great. I'll have to upload that as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to find those links and definitely share them and put them up. Actually, it's kind of we'll be playing for those of you that are listening and know that last time it was primarily an audio only thing, and essentially when we started this, we were thinking, oh yeah, there's just going to be a basic podcast. It's just going to be audio. Um, we had a static image up last time, but we're going to be able to once I went from complete noob to amateur at using the open broadcasting software OBS. we can show footage. Like right now, I have the game up in the background. I'm not doing anything, like it's just running, but it's no longer a static image, and we're going to be able to play videos for you. So we might link uh, a couple videos or show off a couple things on occasion, um, and you'll be able to see that in this show. So yeah, well, I need to find those links. I need to find the ones of you pulling and just us doing
Oh.
stupid things.
Oh man. So let's talk about our rating experience really quick. I mean, I you started later than I did, but you have progressed a lot further than I have already. And I mean, that's kind of like how do I word this? I mean, it's that's the premise of this game. Like you can have brand new people come in and just be amazing at it while you've got people who are like myself, kind of a casual player but still enjoys doing end game raids that aren't progressing as fast because they just a don't have the time or just it doesn't really appeal to them the entire time. But so I initially started raiding back with David Anderson and the Evil R Faith. Those two are some of my oldest friends in the game. And when I first met David, he was he joined my FC after we convinced him to leave his old one, and we were running T5 together. Now this was back when I was like I 110 or something like that. So I was still brand new to raiding and everything. And there was this one raid. One time we were using PF and we had this Bard in there. All right, we got Twin Tanya down to I think it was like 20%, and the Bard accidentally popped LB3, and there was only one person dead, and he wasn't even within range of the limit break. So he wasted the LB3 to try to raise people. And so we're all pissed off about that. We're like, all right, whatever. Don't even worry about it. We'll be all right. So we start progressing through the fight. We get her down to 5%, and she starts just destroying us. People are losing it, like just dying left and right to stupid things. And our tank dies. Then it's just me and the black mage. And Twintania aggros to the black mage. She dies in 2 hits. I'm the only one left, being an I-110 ninja, not really knowing exactly what in the world is going on. I pop perfect dodge and I try to pop second wind, but no. Death sentence hits me, and that's all she wrote. We wiped at like 0.5%. I was so upset. I left shortly after that and didn't touch T5 for a good month and a half.
Ouch. Hey,
Yeah.
those are stuff. Shit happens. That's okay.
Yeah. I was just.
Sometimes those are the things you that like if you're trying to progress. Sometimes getting slightly farther and just getting your face wrecked is the highlight of the day.
Yeah, I mean that is legit one of the most memorable things I have done in Final Fantasy, like from when I started almost 2 years ago. And there's been a lot of different things that I would consider memorable, but that one being the top one, just because we were like right there. If I would have had dots up or someone had dots up, we would have won. We would have been fine. But because that bard LB3'd and just kind of ruined it for us, we were SOL. Oh man, I was so upset.
I'm sure they never lived it down either. Because sometimes you're just like, oh, I can't believe I caused us to wipe. So yeah, those are good raid stories, and I don't. I mean, I have a couple, but I don't really know too many off the top of my head right now that are like amazing or awesome. Or actually, I have a lot of footage to comb through. This is what I was telling you the other day. I have a lot of raid footage. I have a lot of stuff. I was complaining about running out of hard drive space, but I have 600 gigabytes of unprocessed footage to essentially go through and delete a bunch of it, because and put to get stitch together the ones that are good. Um,
Mhm.
and just go through it. But there's a bunch of those I'm gonna put up, and those are definitely things we'll be sharing and showing as well. So those are where my stories are gonna be. Um, you you were talking about you wanted to bring up our raid experience as well as our background. I also well, before Final Fantasy 14, I played a lot of SWTOR actually, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I got really into it. And it's kind of funny because I never really tanked or healed or anything other than DPS, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna heal like all the time. If I want to learn something, I'm gonna heal through it. If I want to really try out something, I'm gonna heal through it, and still DPS because I'm a scholar main. But I was coming from SWTOR. I was playing a DPS. I was playing an ironically a sustained DPS kind of class again. It was a dot kind of a yeah, essentially it was a dot based. It was the um oh, what was it? Was it Marauder? I can't remember the exact name. But it was the Sift based class that was a dot based slow damage over time kind of class. So playing
Hmm.
Final Fantasy with Scholar into dots, I haven't gotten away from that.
Well, good, good, good. I mean,
It's just my playstyle. But and then before that, I played some WoW. Honestly, I don't have too many memorable moments because I didn't really raid much in it, and
Mhm.
I just didn't play it that much. But before that, the last MMO that I really got into and actually uh, really try to contribute to the meta and the community as well was Ragnarok Online. Back before they even had IRO, the International Ragnarok Online. So there was a ton of private servers that were propped up, and I was one of the scripters for one of the servers, um, and also like a community event uh, game master. So I do remember not a rating memory, but my first like MMO experience was hosting an event, and it was telling everyone that was online in one of the major towns, the main towns, where everyone sets up their shopping carts and just AFKs, was that there was like prizes being given south of the town, and I went invisible and I watched I watched nearly 40 or 50 people start heading south, and once they got to the location I specified, I spawned like I spawned like 100 pourings and a bunch of other high level mobs and just completely trashed them. And that was my version of a really poor version of a community event, because while it was hectic and it was pretty fun in the end, um, it wasn't really clear like who won or who survived because people were dying left and right and coming back from the town just really quickly coming back and just kind of having a good time trying to crush things. But occasionally I just ended up rewarding everyone that was there. But that was my first memory of interacting with the community and doing more than just playing the game. And while I play the game to enjoy it, I also enjoy the meta of it. I enjoy uh, like people theorizing about things. I enjoy people sharing their experiences, like all the other stuff that comes along with the game. That's the kind of fun stuff I like to dig into when I'm not actually playing the game. That makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's amazing. The fact that you convinced 40 to 50 people to run outside an area and then just get completely destroyed by mobs makes me so happy.
It's in my nature, right?
Pretty much. I mean that we've established that we enjoy watching chaos ensue when things happen, when we pull on accident or just cause chaos. It's just a very enjoyable thing to watch at points.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We're about 23 minutes in. I want to leave time for us. I definitely want to. I don't know. I don't feel like we talked enough about Famfrit in general, because that was kind of one of the things about our show where we're definitely talking about generic Final Fantasy 14 topics, and there will definitely be shout outs on occasion to other shows and other casters and streamers that talk about very similar things. But I think a lot of the time we're going to hyper focus on our experiences within the Famfrit community, and that's kind of like our at least one of the things that we're going to focus on at first, just because it's one of our strongest things. Like we're in the Famfrit community, we well, you socialize a lot more than me, and we've got a couple we've got a couple people that when I want to hear about stuff, want to hear about rumors, I confirm it through them. So I'm sure we'll have stuff to talk about that, but I think that was essentially what we're going to focus on or really try to make the most out of. So that said,
Absolutely.
anything you really want to talk about, Famfrit? You want to give a
Uh,
shout out? You want to do a kind of like,
you
hey,
know,
what do you guys want us to talk about? Like, what do you want to bring out that people don't
yeah,
really talk
I
about?
mean, if anyone has any suggestions, ideas, and you see me or Bellator online, just go ahead and talk to us. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is, we might say no. I mean, obviously, there's some things we won't touch with a 10-foot pole versus other ones that, we can work in. I mean, everything is pretty much fair game for the most part, except for Lala Fells because they are the bane of
Hold up,
entire existence.
hold up. No, 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 no. I'm gonna call you out on this. I'm gonna call you out on this. You just temporarily left the FC to create a new FC with Lalas. I'm calling you out on that, and that is going live and it's being recorded.
Oh, that is fine. I completely understand it. And I will tell people about my Gang of Lala FC if they would like to hear that story. That is another topic for another day. But
I actually might like
just,
to get my Lala alt into that, so long as I can figure out the gardening situation. You know what I'm talking about.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
trust me, I know. But yeah, I mean, just watch out for that gang of little potatoes running around Limsa. You will find them or they will find you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Just wait for it. There's a flock of them, and we travel in that pack.
Oh boy. All right. All right. Well, with that said, and with the warning about those popotos, I'm going to switch over to the trailer, the patch 3.4 trailer, and that's what we're gonna watch now. Um, if you guys have seen it already or don't care, we're gonna put a skip link in the show in the video, and you can just skip to the part where we start talking about it. But for those of you that haven't seen it yet, what are you doing? Why haven't you seen it yet? And afterwards, we'll just talk about it. We've already got a couple list of topics, but if anything comes up, we'll be sure to try to discuss it. So I'm going to switch to that now.
This I promise you, for we have a power within us, my friends. A power befitting our pride, our righteousness.
Where men go as one, there is life. And where there is life, there is cause to hope.
answered with greater power. Death with more death. A vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred.
If there is aught you would say it.
He that holdeth fast unto his convictions shall never count betrayal amongst his crimes, though all the world may call him villain.
Alphino, don't go. There is something I must say.
You know our cause. You know what is at stake. We are prepared to do whatever it takes. Are you?
Guide my hand, I pray you, as fate's thread spinneth upon this most capricious spindle.
Alright, and we're back. So, let me just switch back to the notes here. But, they know, Square Enix knows how to do trailers. Whoever put that
Yes.
together needs to get a commendation and or a raise, because holy shit. There's so much stuff in that. So much stuff in one patch. But then again, they do that every content patch?
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I mean, I commend Square Enix for absolutely just knocking it out of the park with every single one of their teaser trailers. I mean, it just makes you so hyped and so stoked for the new content being released. You're just like essentially a kid waiting for Christmas when these videos drop. There's just so much, like, you can't contain yourself. Like, when I first started and watching the Heaven's Ward preview, I was like, holy crap, like, this is going to be epic, because I know they launched it they showed the previews for it shortly after I had started. So, I mean, it was just, oh, God, I can't even begin to explain it. Sorry, I interrupted you and it went on a tangent.
No, they didn't. I mean, all I was gonna do is talk about the trailer. So let's dive into our topics. The very, very, very first thing I wrote down was that approximately 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the video, it's summoner hype. Now, it's not an actual summoner change. However, the dungeon boss transforms into, and I wrote Shiva down, but that's not right, transforms into Garuda. Whoa. I mean, that's nothing new in terms of, spoilers about other stuff happening in the game, but um, this happening more often is kind of like what I'd say is a sneak peek. You know how they like to sneak things into like where we least expect it. Like there's a bunch
Easter
of
eggs.
Yeah, well, not yeah, Easter eggs, things that are like just foreshadowing, and they get overshadowed because we're so hype about everything else. Like this happens fairly 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, and then all the other awesome stuff happens, and it's totally easy to miss the 7 seconds of footage of the boss transforming into Garuda. It doesn't even matter how temporary that is. That has me really hyped for changes to Summoner coming up, if it happens.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's so much going on in that trailer. I mean, they could hire.
Are you there? Your voice cut out.
All right, let's see. Is this working now?
Yeah, you're back.
All right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I am using a old microphone, so sorry about that. I apologize. But as I was saying, they could hide things in plain sight, and like Bellator had said, we would be we wouldn't pay any attention to it simply for the fact that we are so stoked for 3.4 to drop that it is completely irrelevant. Like, we're just not going to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
Oh
so
man, I really
definitely
hope
rewatch
that.
this video.
hmm
Oh boy.
I really hope that you can, as a summoner, like you can actually start to have your essentially your EGIs take a bigger form and start to become essentially more lifelike, I guess you could say, instead
Or
of those small little baby things.
or something like temporarily merge with your edgy and become the primal for I don't even know. This thing has been beaten to death, but like I think the general consensus is that summoner needs some more loving. That it's not really a summoner. Like I keep on saying, it's basically a blue mage of pets. So
Yeah.
it definitely needs a little bit more love to get to the right spot. But yeah. So continuing on with the video, it looks like the creator raid. Oh boy, it looks like it
Oh
has a
God.
ton of new mechanics, a ton of new things, and hopefully they're not going to let us down with this raid tier.
You know, we've discussed this many times before, and I have just expressed my utter annoyance with how simplistic a lot of these, like, duty finderable raids are. And it just kind of, like, it irks me because I liked the final coil, how difficult that was at that point, and how you couldn't really, well, you couldn't even duty finder it until you got into Heaven's Ward in that area with a bunch of randoms because, you know, most of the people that cleared didn't want to go back in there with a bunch of duty finder people and wipe for 2 hours just for what, a $3,000 repair bill. I'm good on that. Like, I really hope that this is going to be on that same tier, on that same level as the coil difficulty level. So, I mean, there's still mechanics in T9 and T13, which I ran last night with to help clear some people, that will wipe you if you do not pay attention. Even at our eye level, it's still a one shot.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
Again. But I'm stoked, to say the least, for the
Yeah,
creator.
I think shameless plug to our last interview. I think we were talking about difficulty of raid mechanics, and
Mhm.
um, I also remember outside of our interview, just people talking about how DPS checks are still there. However, they're not super strict, and on top of that, it's entirely possible to essentially not skip mechanics, but reduce how many times you repeat it, or something similar to that, where it's like um, dodging balls or what's a thing that's skippable? Jails. Like we know how to do them. We've practiced them. We've done them over and over. And there's you know if you get the first pair, you might not get the second pair. Um, it's it's kind of like it's a reward. If you can DPS as well as do the mechanics that are thrown at you, you can skip the second or third or fourth or even fifth iteration of those same mechanics. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like we're not completely skipping entire phases like we are when we do T5 unsynced, but but we're not like completely tiring ourselves out doing the same thing over and over again because we've earned the ability to skip the second or third iteration of it, and we still have to do it the first time or whatever. But I think we'll see that again in this raid tier. We'll see the DPS check uh, loose. It's not going to be as strict as Gordius. And it's actually, I think it might even be easier than Midas because they were saying even Midas was still too hard. And
Right.
we'll be focusing, and from the looks of the video, focusing a lot more on the fight itself and the mechanics involved. Because obviously there's a couple things in there that are like, and when you really boil it down, it's like dodge an AoE, be in the right spot, which is there's no real way to get around that type of mechanic, but it's the way it's arranged within the fight and how it relates to all the other things you're doing at a time where it's gonna be a new fight, and hopefully they arrange that properly. I think they will, though. I think they have.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, just to get off topic for just a few minutes, I mean, with Nidhogg EX, I mean, when you're trying to get out of the godforsaken bomb pass, and you've got your main tank going to one corner and everyone else is spread out and no one can DPS. I mean, it's like besides your ranged and possibly caster, that's one of those things where I wasn't too impressed with it. I mean, it's not a very difficult mechanic to dodge, but I really want something that's going to be a DPS heavy as well as mechanic heavy. So that way we can see where we will essentially stand as a game and a community as a whole. Because I don't know, I like things that are extremely challenging that are going to make me mad and want to get in there and figure it out with my group and my static team. I mean, I don't know if you're the same way, but I that are going things that push me.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a little bit of feedback there, but yes. In terms of wanting that challenge, yeah, I definitely want that. I don't want like normal mode is fun because you can do it. In fact, you can do it. Learn the fights where it's more forgiving. Like you can have someone's. What was it? Recently. Oh, the feedback. It wasn't you. It was me. It was something I screwed up. But the in A5 in normal mode, you could totally screw up bombs once or twice and get through it. I mean, we all know I did the first time I started punching bombs for us, and we lived through it. And we're like, what was that? We should have done something about that. I was like, what happens if and then I punch it into the group. So that's not how to do it.
Oh God, more stories for our next topics.
Yeah, but normal mode is great because you can enjoy the fights with anyone really. It's yes, it might have a low skill floor required, but you can enjoy the fight, which is the whole point of the game, right? You want to enjoy it. And then if you
Correct,
really, really,
absolutely.
really want to tackle something that's challenging, you get together with like-minded people and you take it on. So um, for whatever reason you raid, whether you're in it for the loot, whether you're in it for the achievement or the title or just the camaraderie, or you're in it and you're a masochist because sometimes you need to prove to yourself that you can do things that very few others can do. We all have our different reasons.
I
That's
enjoy pain, so I mean,
hopefully
I guess you
that's what
would.
Savage is for. Now, I know this is a horse. This horse has been beaten to death, but a more mid-core version would be nice. Like just having multiple tiers. But the game would have to be changed, very fundamental changes in the way gear is distributed, and it's fine if it's vertical progression. It just needs to be done differently because right now, um, for people that want to challenge the savage mode or that wanted to challenge the savage mode of Maiden, the common tactic was if you don't have the best gear from the last raid tier, then you can get a leg up by getting crafted gear. And if you couldn't get the crafted gear, then you have to wait until you got the normal loot as well as the tome loot, the tome gear. And then once you started gearing up that way, to replace any pieces that were not replaced in the last raid tier, then you could start actually successfully challenging Savage mode. Now that has worked, and we know that Square Enix likes to stick with what works, especially if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But if they want to introduce a really super casual and then a mid-core and then a hardcore Savage rating, 3-tier system or even 4-tier, however many is in WoW now, they definitely have to change up how you get the loot. And I don't know if it's gonna be something as simple as making crafted gear easier to make and obtain, or easing the restriction on tome gear or normal loot drops or whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of things that would have to change in order for that to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And like you were saying, I mean, I would be perfectly okay if there was, say, a 3 or 4 tier system that they introduced. but that would mean hell for some statics, like especially on our server, our small server on Famfrit. Man, there is not very many statics on there, not very many raid-minded people, simply because they're just too scared to attempt it because they've heard horror stories from people like and from other groups that just don't want to take the time to teach them.
We need to change that mentality where if we screw up, it's usually going to be funny. Um, there's definitely going to be times where like, oh, did that really happen? But I think most of the time it's going to be like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, like,
Oh,
all
cleric
right.
stance.
So last week, my group, we finally cleared A5S. I mean, I've cleared it already, and this was all of their first time clearing it for the most part.
Ah,
But
congrats.
we
Congrats
had
to that
our,
group.
oh, thanks, we appreciate it. We had our bar into
Uh-oh.
the middle of the group, and we are just like, oh God, what just happened? He's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And then we just wiped. We're like, and we just started laughing. I mean, we accepted it for what it was. I mean, we're not a hardcore. Oh, goodness, my mic's having issues apparently, but we're not a very hardcore raid group. We do this for fun. I enjoy raiding and pushing, but I'm not super hardcore into it. Let me adjust that. Let's see. Is that better now?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. So I don't know where you guys lost me at, but I'm going to continue on with my story. Um, so he punches the bomb directly into our group. We wipe, and we just started laughing about it. Like no one was upset. We accepted it for what it was. I mean, what is the point of playing the game if you're just going to be upset when you die and wipe? I mean, things happen. Accept it for what it is, and that's that. There's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah. We should take more people into our white parties. What do we call them? Repair parties. That's
Oh,
right.
yes, the repair parties. Oh, those are always fun.
All right, I'll start putting more of those in.
In the party finders and Famfrit, yes,
Yeah,
that is we need.
definitely need to get more of those. So.
Absolutely. All right, so one of the main things that I am really stoked about from this trailer is the Hildebrand quest line. I don't know how many of the people have done the Hildebrand quest line, but that is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. Like, I died laughing so many times watching those cutscenes and watching the shenanigans Hildebrand gets himself into. It is just too freaking hilarious. And another one that was myself.
Yeah, I've definitely
I
got to make sure I get caught up on that.
yeah, those Hildebrand are just amazing. I suggest everyone do them before we continue on, or before you start to, whenever you have downtime from your main story, if you're not raiding and not trying to make a ton of gil. That is my suggestion.
Yeah. All right, doing a really quick audio check because I got some garbled. It's not only was a drop, but I got some garbled voice from you. Let me check you.
Okay.
I think it's better now.
It might
Just
be
be
my
the
mic, like I
glitches.
said. I've got an ancient mic, so
Starting to
I'll
Kickstarter
have
to get you a new headset.
to.
I mean, hey, I literally got mine today, so I put it up and tested it in the last 3 hours. Um, and I tested a stream with it because yeah, that last headset I had that you saw on Facebook where I have duct tape holding it together, yeah, that's not gonna fly
Yes.
anymore.
No, 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 not at all. I mean, I'm gonna go invest in a good headset and everything, and we shouldn't have any more issues. In theory.
No, no,
In
no, no.
theory.
We're gonna have issues. They will never stop. We're gonna be 2 years into this and be like, oh, the mic, like the boom fell off the headset for some reason. I don't even know, but yeah, it'll happen. But, So continuing on with the trailer, man, we're not going over yet, but we are really getting into this, which is good. We've only gotten onto the third bullet point of our notes so far. So I want to get into the Google library section, or as many people call it, the Google library, which is honestly what I thought it
Ew.
was before I actually paid attention to the map name and everything. People were like, yeah, once you get the Google library, you do this. I'm like, Google library? I googled it. I actually googled Google library to figure out what, like, look at a guide and see what's going on. Um, so I think, and I think Mike pointed this out to me, and pointed my attention to what I think are glowing Ravana weapons in the Google
Yes.
library. Now, I just want to point out, if you're on the Famfrit server and you're like, oh yeah, time to buy up all the Ravana 4 wings, you're too late. It has already been done. I think there's one 4 wing left for 1,000,000 gil on the market board. All the rest were, oh hello kitty. All the rest were already bought up. But so it looks like glowing Ravana weapons are next, and that would mean what was after Ravana? Sephiroth? Yes. No.
No, that was after
Thornton.
Ivana was Thornton.
Yeah, Thornton. So, oh boy. Some of the Thornton weapons, if they glow. Ugh.
Oh man, I just got my T13 Dark Knight weapon last night. I'm stoked. I finally got it after running it for about 4 months and
Wow.
waiting for it.
Wow. All right.
That was some dedication, but
Hey, let's
I'm
do some more
actually.
of those. I want some more T13 farms where
Oh,
Tank goes
absolutely.
AFK.
Oh God, man, that that one was fun too.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right. So back to the Google library. The book boss. I totally forgot the name, and someone's gonna get mad at me for it. And I actually Googled it for like 5 seconds and then gave up because I was like, "There's too much effort." The book boss finally leaves their room, like the book demon or whatever, or finally leaves their book and fights you in person. Um, and then the return of living liquid, except this one looks to be on fire. It even has the hand form. Did you see that, or did that not bring back horrid memories?
oh God.
This time it's on fire, man.
Oh man.
That's not a good thing in a library.
No, definitely not. I remember trying to clear A3 with RFC when we would do things weekly, and that was just miserable. Oh, watching Shanty tank that was probably one of the greatest things in my entire life, though. Oh man. But yeah, I did see him. I'm actually kind of stoked to see what they're gonna do with that. The living fire thing.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of mechanics they have because I hope they got the message. The message came back to them and said, "We really like mechanics. When you make things look fancy and actually affect the play, without being like some stupid gimmicky thing that isn't actually creative. Like, oh, I don't know. There's just some really bad mechanic or things that are just really boring to do. But,
Oh yes. Oh God, what is the like in Tamtara Deepcroft? Jesus Christ, man, that place is just run to the wall, tank everything until you get to the boss, and kind of dodge AoEs. That's pretty much it. I mean,
yeah, yeah, that's fun. That's fun for maybe the first 5 minutes. It's not fun for 20 minutes.
no, definitely not. I can agree with you on that one.
So, so hopefully with the new dungeons, new fights, new mechanics. Uh, Also in the video, the next thing I wanted us to bring up was dueling. So, Caine, you ready to 1v1 me?
Oh yeah, bro, bring it. I will smack you with my ninja blade.
Boy, I don't even know what I would 1v1 with, but yeah, it would be really good. Yeah, I look forward to that just because we can finally beat the crap out of each other.
Crap talking that we've done. No, this is the best class. No, this is the best class. I wish we could duel. All right, well. Your dreams have come true, jerk offs. Let's see what you do with it.
We'll definitely set up a couple tournaments, a couple events, things that
Oh,
we'll do.
absolutely.
Yeah, bragging rights and a guild reward. It'll be good. It'll be really good. Skipping right ahead, yeah, since there's not much to talk about that until we actually get to it. Skipping right ahead to the Adventurers Squad. Oh boy.
Ah.
I just want to point out before, without even knowing any details about it, mine will be Power Ranger themed. They're all gonna be,
What?
yeah.
I mean, I'm probably gonna go with all potatoes just because they creep everyone out.
Oh boy.
And I mean, I've got my gang of potatoes, and we just like to ruin things for people.
I fully expect more things to pop up. Like, I don't know why, but I just thought of Sailor Moon being a thing. Like, that's gonna be a theme. Um, I can't do it. I'm a dude, but in
Well,
game
of
I
course you
could do it.
can.
Oh yeah, in the Sailor Moon. Maybe I could. That could be kind of funny. I could be
I
Tuxedo
mean,
Mask.
I will just completely laugh at you every time I see you, but I mean, by all means, go ahead and make yourself a Sailor Moon party.
I might have to change it. So we don't have much info about that either. Honestly, I think next week we'd have it by next week, right? We'd have the preliminary patch notes by next Saturday.
I believe so.
Oh,
I mean,
I
if we
so
did,
hope so. And if we don't, maybe delay our show until we do. I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, they give out the actual patch notes the day before or the night before, and then the preliminary comes a few days before. So hmm, we'll have to figure
I
that out because
oh,
I
absolutely.
definitely want to revisit these things and a bunch of things that we're going to be kind of skipping over because we just don't have any details about it. All we've got is speculation.
Right, exactly.
So, that said, Palace of the Dead was the next part in the clip. I want to point out the scene of everyone standing around a chest as it's opening. That's very poor form right there. Like just everyone. That could have been
But
an
terrible,
explosion.
terrible idea.
I just. Mm-mm, mm-mm. But
uh,
but did you see the weapon change color?
yes, they were glowing red, and that is amazing. Oh God, I remember one time. What didn't you guys like step into House of the Dead, and then one of the chest, the very first chest was explosive, and you guys all wiped within
Yeah,
a few minutes, like in a minute, right?
I took that
Welcome to
screenshot.
Palace
It
of the
was like
Dead.
Palace of the Dead has started. Not even a minute later, Palace of the Dead has ended. I was like, well, let's re-queue because hopefully we don't get other idiots. Yeah, that's on our Facebook group somewhere. Yeah. Um, so still not much details about that other than what is already publicly known. Oh man, can you imagine having the red colored weapon as the next version that you can pull out? That's going to be like an eye level 265 or something, or just glamour, completely glamour, but it's going to be another weapon that people are going to grind because they want the red, dark, edgy weapon.
Right, exactly.
Stone Vigil.
Exactly. That's what I was
Mike just
just
pointed
thinking.
out in chat that they look like the Stone Vigil weapons.
I didn't notice any similarities. I'm gonna have to go and double check that. I mean, I'm
Uh,
not doubting you personally, Mike, but
no,
I don't pay attention to that much detail.
I bet he's chucked. I bet he's chucked. It's just
It,
that's something he would do.
ah, yes, Mikey the troll, professional troll. Oh God, what else was there?
The next scene I think was the goddess, and oh boy, that is. I gotta point out that is competition for Shiva and maybe even Minfilia.
Uh, we got into a bit of a discussion last night, me and the people I've been playing with lately, about how Minfilia is useless, and I got upset, and I told them, "Do not speak about my waifu that way. I will destroy you."
Yeah, send me those names so I can put them on my list of people not to heal.
Absolutely, I agree with that entirely.
But yeah, so what was her name? Sophia, right?
Uh huh.
Sophia. Oh man,
Correct.
one, cool name. But two, those walls, like when the balance was changing or swinging, those walls are totally gonna drop. Are totally gonna drop, and you can fall off. I'm calling it right now.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw those two. I was like, ooh, this is going to be like Leviathan EX. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. So bad. It's going to be so funny to watch people just slide right off because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's going to be hilarious.
So I think the last bit was the main scenario quest, and rounding out the video with just basically what's happening with the patch, which is named Soul. What's it called? Soul
Soul Surrender.
Surrender. I almost said Soul Survivor, and I was like, nope, not the Dark
Dark
Knight
Knight
skill.
skill.
Soul Surrender. With the main scenario quest wrapping it up, I'd like to point out that the Primals are making a reappearance. We saw Titan smash some kobolds. We saw Ifrit's fire, which also looks like it's surrounding the Warriors of Darkness. So I'm immediately thinking Summoner hype again, but I don't know. That could just be something like just wishful thinking.
Right,
And
exactly.
and uh oh, Kitty's in trouble. And Carbuncle is
Yes.
OP.
The
You see that? That
subdued it, man. Like a little fast shot an arrow out of the sky. Like, how?
I don't know. I don't know. Just Carbuncle, man. Just I wish my Carbuncle looked that cool. I wish I still had Carbuncle. I mean, Eos and Celine, they're cool, but if I had Carbuncle healing next to me, that would make me happy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's so many, yeah, and there's people talking about like Mike bringing up the Sophia, going back to Sophia real quick, the ads have armor similar to the Labyrinth of the Ancient final boss, and it's just, yeah, it's tying back. Well, it's kind of tying in the whole Allegan theme thing. Like, I think people may have forgotten that it's all Allegan based. All this stuff is still surrounding the Allegan Empire. So,
Right.
I want to know how they tie that back into the main story. And then finally, the very last thing that I personally picked up from the video, was the Warriors of Darkness having their own crystals.
Yes.
What are they
I
gonna summon?
Right, exactly. Is it their soul crystals or what kind of crystals are they using? Like I'm kind of curious myself to see what happens.
Like, I don't think they'd be summoning Zodiark. That sounds far fetched.
Yeah, but actually that might make a little more sense if they're going to be pushing on with like God, the 24-man raids. I mean,
Hmm.
because if I remember correctly, those are all part of the same line, right? The Void Ark, Weeping City, and then Zodiac, correct?
I don't
Or
think
is that completely
so.
something completely different? I might be wrong. It wouldn't be a first.
They're
Won't be
definitely
a
within the
last.
same realm of like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check Ethos's lore videos, which are really good, by the way. Random shout out to a random other YouTuber, but his lore videos are awesome. And I don't remember anything tying the Void Ark Reaping City stuff with Zodiac really. Um, yeah. Mike brought up that they're wait, what? No. Okay, we're not talking. We're talking about something else. Um, but yeah, and then also speaking of crystals, Mike brought up Alexander Prime or Alexander the Greater, and one thing that I didn't write down, but I was like, oh wait, what is that? On my second watch through, was there's a crystal in Alexander. There's a crystal in one of the boss fights. You can see it in the background.
I didn't notice that. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I didn't see that, so.
I have no idea what it would be about, but there's another crystal that doesn't. It's big, but it's not like anywhere as big as Heidelin was, or even the crystal that's in the Diadem, which I still don't even know what is going on with that. Like the massive crystal in the middle of the Diadem. Like I didn't see, and I didn't read any lore about that. I didn't do the side quests. Unfortunately, I haven't done those yet or explored it, but. I got nothing
Mm-hmm.
that's talking about
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really quite understand the point of the giant crystalline diadem anyways. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll find out. I mean, hopefully they dive a little bit more into the diadem because that thing was cool as hell for the first couple weeks, and then it just kind of died out because no one wanted to go in there.
it. Yeah. Except for our occasional gathering rooms. But yeah, that fragment of Heidelin, and like I said, that one in the Diadem was massive. The one in Alexander
Right.
Prime, it could be massive. I don't know. The scale, the sizing, and whatnot within it is completely all over the place. And then with the whole like Alexander being able to manipulate time, it's just all right. Well, they could tell us anything, and it would be canon because Alexander has some awesome power because that's a really awesome power, being able to change
Well,
time.
right, exactly. I mean, I don't. I think it was Final Fantasy IX, if I remember correctly, when Alexander fought Bahamut and just wrecked Bahamut like he was a lizard, just destroyed him like nothing. It's like holy crap, man! Like that is something I would want on my side and not try to finally fight. Only bad things would happen.
Yeah. Well, Mike brought up us exploring the the Sephotel dungeon, and I know he just joined, and we briefly covered it a little while ago. Mike, a little late to the show, but we didn't really go too much in depth into the lore or why we're even in there, and just really uh yeah, really anything other than we're in there and it's progressing something. What story is it pushing forward? Because the only thing looking at it that I immediately thought of was, what? We're the Warrior of Light, and we're like fighting the Selfatel, and they're giving us some sort of challenge. And then the other part of me is like, oh no, that's just game mechanics. They gotta make it fun for us. But in canon, we go in there and just absolutely wreck the dungeon because we're way powerful.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mike, you're definitely late to the show.
We covered
I
that.
totally freaked out over the boss temporarily maybe changing into Garuda. But oh man, yeah, let's go back to that. I like that. Yeah, let's go back to Summoner Hype. Uh,
Oh boy.
yeah,
Oh, I'm stoked for this patch.
that's all I
I'm
got. That's all I got right now. But I mean, it's still a lot of stuff. We're hitting our mark, and we touched on all the topics and we haven't delved too deep into any of them, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other topics we can pick up some other time, but there's just so much. I'm sure that when patch 3.4 drops and I'm gonna disappear for like a day or two as I craft nonstop.
no,
I'm
no, no,
sure
no,
there's
no, no. It's not a day or two. It's like a week or two.
maybe a week.
And then he's like, "We'll get a message. Hey, every who wants to get my bonus?" And then you get an entire group in a matter
Yeah, y'all want that bonus, and I want that hundreds of millions of gil, please.
well, I'm hoping that all those grade one dissolvents that I bought are going to be worth a damn
Yeah,
now.
let's see. Well, you also bought a bunch of grade 2, so let's see if your
Oh yes, my
wish
grade.
pans out. So, final thoughts on prepping for the patch.
Yeah,
It's
might
crunch
get
time.
good.
I got a lot of stuff to do. Uh,
Yes,
Me and my
I.
regroup, we're gonna give um, Midas another run through, and then I'm just gonna focus straight up on being caught up on all my quests, making sure I have enough money to start gathering and crafting what I need, and um, having all my gear up to date.
Yep. I mean, that's really all we can do. I mean, if you're a gatherer, absolutely 100% make sure you've got all your blue script books, which I have zero. So that is another thing that I'm working on as well. I've been slacking in that department.
Get
But
those books. If
Oh,
you get your
man.
gathering books, at the very minimum, get your gathering books.
Nope, I haven't done it yet.
Caine. Caine. They're
Yes.
gonna need you to get good.
I mean, I tried, and then I try to cap my red scripts weekly, but I just get sidetracked, get doing shenanigans with another group of friends. So I try, but I'm not very successful most.
Well, I'm just mostly joking around. Like, just you got to play to have fun. But
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know, man. I enjoy it. I mean, as far as my raid group goes as well, I think we're taking the week off to kind of take a break, step back, and essentially just prepare ourselves for the patch dropping.
yep. All right. Well, you got any closing remarks or closing questions or anything that we need to wrap up and talk about before we close out this show? Hello, Caine? I think we lost you temporarily again. Oh, and the call dropped. Okay. Well, I'm going to call it then if the call dropped and say that that is the end of this show. Unless he's calling back. Hold on. No, the call ended. Well, all right. Well, I think we covered everything. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Drop some feedback in the chat or on our Facebook page, Facebook Messenger, Discord, however you want to do it. Give us any feedback on what we did well, what you think could be done better, and actually, let me call him real quick. Okay, we're back.
All right, let's
There?
try this again. Is that working?
Yeah, yeah, we're back.
PJ.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Can you hear me?
Patrick.
Oh, I can't. I don't think you can hear us, guys.
PJ.
Of course. There's definitely always going to be some kind of problem.
Patrick.
Hey, can you hear me? Caine, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hold on. Let me adjust the audio for my mic. All right, go ahead.
I see you
All right.
touched your device.
Yes, I had to. Apparently, this one, I don't know what happened. I just dropped the call randomly, so I'm not too happy about that.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. I was just closing up the show and thanking people for watching. Anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that told us to do it, even though me and Bellator Lucis were both kind of apprehensive about it. Especially to Veda and Mikey. Those are the two main ones that were the ones that supported us and told us to actually go through with it. And then the other group of friends that I told about it, and they were just as stoked as we were when we talked about it, and that's Hika, Day, and also Xander. I mean, that is amazing that we've got a group of people willing to stand behind us and tell us to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. Thank you guys for showing us support. Thank you guys for showing up and talking in chat and streaming with us, talking with us while we're on here. Uh, I also want to thank my wife and the kitties who are here and just chilling. definitely, I definitely have a treat for you guys next week with the. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I have a treat for you guys next week. But yeah, thank you all again for coming out and supporting us and watching our show and listening to us babble for a while.
It should have a better headset and mic, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue. I hope. We'll find out.
It'll only get better. I mean, there are things we're gonna screw up, and you know, even if we falter at some point, we'll just keep on going. Just like Raiden, you gotta keep doing it to get better. Alright, well, with that said, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to stop the stream. I want to thank you again one last time, and have a good night, everyone.